When she married the most arrogant doctor, she never expected this amazing transformation to be a fight for her own voice. Emily Stevens stood in her classroom, the walls adorned with vibrant student art, the air thick with the scent of fresh markers and chalk dust. She loved this space. Here she felt alive. Yet, as she shuffled through paperwork, a deep-seated unease settled in her stomach. It had been weeks since she had last seen Tom in anything but a fleeting moment, his arrogance overshadowing the warmth they once shared. Their marriage felt like it was crumbling, piece for precarious piece, under the weight of his surgical ambitions and her growing disillusionment. When the news of Tom facing a malpractice lawsuit broke, it felt like the shattering of glass. Her heart raced, guilt clawing at her insides. Did she stand by him? Love should support, right? Yet, the very thought of defending him twisted her gut. Unable to ignore the mounting whispers from her colleagues, those patients whose lives he had deemed unworthy, his decisions made as if they were chess pieces on a board. Each voice taunted her, pushing her into a corner of uncomfortable realization. Had she supported a man who had lost sight of the human cost of his success? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As she prepared for the courtroom's impending storm, doubts simmered within her. Tom's upbringing, a silver spoon in his mouth, privileges that bred an insatiable hunger for success, now clashed painfully with the values her family had instilled in her. Would she sacrifice her voice for the man whose arrogance she could no longer overlook? Each day, she felt the rift between them deepen, the love she had cherished morphing into bitterness. Emily's breath quickened as images flashed through her mind. The earnest faces of her students, who believed in her integrity, in the lessons she imparted about justice and compassion. She was their advocate. But as the courtroom day approached, the weight of her choice pressed heavily. Would she champion Tom, the man who had risked lives for his ego? Or fight for the unjustly harmed, the ones who deserved a voice? With every sleepless night, she pondered her identity: teacher, wife, advocate. A million questions plagued her. How could she stand before her students, those bright eyes looking up to her for honesty, if she chose comfort over accountability? The reality struck her like a whispered reproach. There was no easy answer. Every choice felt like a betrayal. The looming trial felt like a ticking clock, each second reviving doubt, despair, and a desperate need for clarity. As the gavel pounded against the wooden surface in her mind, she was faced with raw, penetrating anguish. Emily clenched her fists, muscle tension rippling, overwhelming her as the courtroom's silence echoed louder with every beat of her heart. The moment held electric uncertainty, and as she gazed into the eyes that held hope and despair, it became glaringly clear. One path led to unwavering loyalty, the other to the uncertain yet tantalizing freedom of her own truth. In that breathless silence of the courtroom, she stood at the edge of an impossible choice, one that could define her life and the lives of those she cared for the most. Emily felt the quiet heartbeat of her classroom meld into the chaotic rhythm of her thoughts. The walls seemed to close in, reminders of her purpose and the principles she had always held dear. She took a deep breath, striving to center herself amidst the storm brewing within and around her. Instead of focusing on the disarray of her emotions regarding Tom, she instinctively turned her attention to the work on her desk. Grading papers had always provided an escape, a distraction from uncertainty. Yet, even here, the specter of her predicament loomed large. Students poured their souls into essays about empathy, resilience, and accountability. Each word reflected the ideals she had nurtured in their minds and hearts. How could she betray them by supporting a man whose moral compass seemed so skewed? The incongruity of standing by Tom while promoting the very values he appeared to abandon felt insurmountable. She had a decision to make, one that would not only influence her marriage, but reshape her entire self-concept. The clock ticked relentlessly toward the courtroom date, intensifying the urgency of her internal battle. The vibrant art surrounding her no longer felt like expressions of joy. Instead, they became silent witnesses to her turmoil. Emily vowed to dissect her feelings, to understand herself better before dealing with Tom's turmoil. Probing her emotional state, she acknowledged the swirling mix of love, anger, and disappointment that clouded her judgment. Seeking clarity, she rummaged through her drawer and pulled out a journal, a relic from her early teaching days filled with thoughts and aspirations. Opening it, she noted her dreams of making a meaningful impact, shaping young minds who would ultimately influence the world. In those pages, she was fearless, but the woman she saw today felt stagnant, torn between loyalty to a man shrouded in ambition and the desire to support those who desperately needed advocacy. Emily's heart ached as she penned a reflection. What does loyalty mean when it compromises your integrity? The ink formed a question that hung heavy in the air. Had she lost herself in Tom's shadow? In her desire to be a good wife, had she overlooked the discomfort growing inside her? Weeks passed, and the trial date drew near. Returning to class one morning, she noticed a student, Daniel, struggling with a project on social justice. His furrowed brow mirrored her turmoil. She offered to guide him, hoping it would ground her amidst her own chaos. As they discussed his project, Voices of the Unheard, she found herself inspired again. His youthful passion reignited her own. He spoke about wanting to stand up for others, to seek justice even if it meant facing daunting opposition. The realization hit her like a clarion call. Perhaps this was her own path. She did not need to choose between Tom and her integrity. She could take a stand for what was right. In that moment of clarity, Emily felt something shift. The stakes of her decision suddenly crystallized. It wasn't merely about supporting or opposing Tom. It was about embracing her authentic self. She couldn't ignore the injustices woven through their shared lives. She realized that advocating for those who were wronged could mean advocating for herself too. She determined that she would confront Tom, not as an adversary, but as a partner. It was time to unravel the truth of their relationship, to expose the fissures that had formed beneath their surface, and acknowledge the impact of his choices. Would he even be willing to listen? With a newfound resolve, Emily stood at the precipice of change, ready to face Tom and the unvarnished realities of their marriage. As she prepared for their conversation, she sensed the gravity of what lay ahead. The moment had arrived for her to question everything she thought she understood about love, loyalty, and justice. What results awaited her on the other side of truth? As she steeled herself for the confrontation, she couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of a deeper journey, one that would redefine more than her marriage. It would forge her into the woman she was meant to be. The air in Emily's living room was thick with tension as she prepared to confront Tom. Each step felt deliberate, the polished floor a stage on which her internal struggle played out. She could hear the faint hum of the refrigerator, mimicking the rhythmic pulse of her beating heart as she approached the dining room table. A familiar scent of takeout lingered, remnants of a hurried dinner they had shared just days before. It reminded her of their once easy evenings, raucous laughter ringing through the air. But now those moments felt tainted by doubt. She had envisioned this conversation numerous times, each scenario meticulously planned out in her head. Would she begin with her hurt, her fear, or go straight to the heart of the matter? But as she sat down with her notebook, the pages filled with her thoughts, her confidence wavered. Uncertainty loomed like dark clouds threatening a storm. Finally, she steeled herself. This was not merely a confrontation about loyalty, but a critical revelation about who she had become, her identity, her worth, her integrity. It was time to reclaim those facets of herself that had drifted in Tom's orbit for so long. "Emily?" Tom's voice sliced through her reverie. She glanced up to find him stepping into the room, brow furrowed, a concern etched upon his face. He set his briefcase down and reached for the chair opposite her, but she motioned for him to stand. "Before you sit down, we need to talk," she said. The firmness of her voice surprised her, a small victory that fueled her resolve. His posture stiffened, but he didn't retreat. "What's wrong?" "Everything," she replied. The weight of the term hung between them, heavy and palpable. Unwilling to let his surprise deter her, she pressed on. "I can no longer ignore what's been happening, what I've been feeling." Tom crossed his arms, masking what she instantly recognized as defensiveness. "You know my situation at work is complicated. I thought we were past discussing this." "No, Tom," the word burst from her mouth. "This isn't about work anymore. It's about us. I want to know who you really are in all of this. Are you still the man I married?" The question lingered, a haunting inadequacy that echoed through the silence. She could see him calculating his response, the reels in his mind turning. His eyes darted to the floor, then back to her, seeking a foothold in an increasingly precarious conversation. "I'm trying to do what's best for us. Why can't you see that?" "Best for us," she repeated, incredulous. "You're tilting everything for your ambition, and I'm standing by watching. Supporting your dreams is not an excuse to throw away ours." As she spoke, clarity surged within her. There was a profound realization that her voice mattered, that her feelings were legitimate. Emotional resilience rippled through her as fragments of anger transformed into assertiveness. "Emily, it's not black and white. You know how much pressure I'm under." "Pressure doesn't excuse dishonesty. You've been navigating a path devoid of compassion, Tom. What about the lessons I teach my students about accountability and justice? How do I reconcile that if I turn a blind eye to your choices?" In that moment, as she expressed her convictions, she felt the shackles of silence break away, allowing her to assert her values. It was as though a fresh breeze swept through the room, offering her a glimpse of the person she had always aspired to be. Honest, bold, uncompromising. Tom's eyes narrowed, a storm swirling within. "You think you can dictate what I should do?" Emily paused, measuring his words carefully. "I'm not here to dictate anything. I'm here to understand, to discover if we can move forward without losing who we fundamentally are." Her voice trembled slightly, but it was empowerment coursing through her veins. Now was not the time for apologies, it was a reckoning. And as she looked into Tom's eyes, she understood that the outcome of this conversation would shape not only their relationship, but also her future. Would he rise to the occasion or continue to evade the deep-rooted issues between them? She felt the weight of uncertainty, but also a spark of hope ignited by her own burgeoning strength. What would it take for him to hear her? She could not retreat now. She was standing firm, ordered chaos stirring within as the next words hovered like a promise of change. But would Tom finally accept the call for authenticity? Would he see her not as a threat, but as a partner seeking renewal? The tension crackled in the air, bracing both of them for an inevitable revelation. Emily held her breath, heart racing as she awaited Tom's response. The silence stretched uncomfortably, a chasm of unspoken words and unaddressed emotions. She could see him struggling, his fingers tapping nervously against the table. "Emily, just let me explain," he uttered finally. But she wouldn't allow the conversation to pivot. "No, Tom, this isn't about excuses. With newfound steadiness, she leaned forward, ready to assert her boundaries, to reclaim her narrative. I need you to understand how this has made me feel. You haven't just been absent, you've been indifferent to my emotional landscape. I can't accept that anymore. His gaze shifted away, searching perhaps for a distraction or a way to sidestep the confrontation. But she wouldn't let it slide this time. He had taken her for granted for too long. Do you even realize what it feels like to be your afterthought? She pressed on. Each time I reached out, hoping to connect, I was met with silence or excuses. I need your honesty. I need to know we are on the same team. A subtle shift began in his expression. She noted it with a mixture of apprehension and hope. He seemed to ease slightly, though the tension didn't dissipate entirely. There was a flicker, a hint that he understood there was more at stake than a mere argument. I know I haven't been there the way you need me, he finally admitted, voice softening. But you have to understand that I'm under so much pressure at work. I thought you'd be proud of my achievements instead of questioning my integrity. Emily absorbed his words, feeling a familiar sadness tug at her heart. He was right. She had admired his ambition, but that admiration was swamped by the way his drive overshadowed their shared life. The accolades he sought had become a personal void between them. I am proud of you, but it has to be a two-way street, she said, her voice steady but compassionate. We both deserve to thrive, not just in our careers, but in our lives together. I want to believe in us again, but I can't do it alone. His shoulders rose and fell, a deep sigh escaping him as if he were deflating under the weight of her words. Each slow exhale felt heavy with the burden of missed connections and unrealized potential. The walls he had built around himself were showing cracks, and for the first time, Emily felt the possibility of something raw and genuine peeking through. What do you propose? How do we get from here to a better place? His question was less defensive now, tinged with a desire to find a solution. We start by being honest with ourselves and each other. No more hiding behind work or pressures. Let's commit to real conversations, not just a superficial "how was your day" that barely grazes the surface. She could feel the urgency in her voice. This was her moment. I want to hear what you think and feel, beyond the bravado of your work life. Can you do that? The vulnerability of the moment held him, pulling on threads of humility she had not seen in some time. Okay, he replied, almost a whisper. I'm willing to try, but I need you to help me navigate this. I don't want to lose you. As the words left his lips, the weight of their implications sunk in for Emily. This wasn't merely a reconciliation, it felt like a rekindling of something once cherished. Yet, unease crept in with the realization that this was just the first step. Then show me, Tom, she urged, not out of animosity, but with a clear challenge. Show me you're serious about changing. Action will speak louder than words. Each syllable came out with the intention of fostering accountability. The flicker of determination in Tom's eyes ignited something within her as well. Maybe their journey could morph into something transformative, a path that could mend what had been broken. Yet, as exhilarating as the prospect was, she felt the creeping fear of disappointment linger. What awaited them as they ventured deeper into this redefined relationship? Could they cultivate a path that led not just to understanding, but to rediscovery and restoration of their love? The thought of embarking on this new journey both excited and terrified her. With a tentative but resolute heart, she pondered if Tom was truly ready for the commitment this would demand. Ultimately, the question hung heavy. Were they prepared to face the truths waiting beyond this discussion? As they locked eyes, both recognized that they were standing at a pivotal crossroad, one that could very well redefine their identities and futures. Emily felt a swell of disbelief mixed with cautious hope as Tom silently absorbed her challenge. The air between them thickened, charged with an energy that hinted at the possibility of change. She couldn't shake the feeling that their lives were about to shift dramatically, but how deep would that shift go? Days turned into weeks, and Emily noticed a subtle change in Tom's demeanor. While he still spent long hours at the hospital, he made a conscious effort to return home earlier. Their evenings became a blend of genuine conversations and shared moments, including long walks where they dissected everything from their fears to their aspirations. One Friday evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, spilling golden light across their small living room, Tom suggested they try cooking a new recipe together. "I know how much you love that Italian place," he said, a hint of mischief in his voice. Though it was a simple gesture, the invitation felt monumental. It felt like a declaration of camaraderie that had long been missing. As they teamed up in the kitchen, laughter bubbled up through the mistakes they made, flour clouding the air as they fumbled with ingredients. Emily felt her heart lighten. She was rediscovering a part of Tom, a version of him that had been buried under years of stress and the weight of unrealistic expectations. "Remember when we first started dating?" she asked, as she stirred the sauce, her eyes keenly studying him as he diced garlic. Tom smirked. "I remember you being terrible at cooking." "Hey, I've improved," she protested, tossing a sprig of basil at him, which he caught with a gleeful grin. The playfulness felt liberating, yet a thin layer of tension still clung to the edges of her consciousness. There were questions pricking at the back of her mind. Was this transformation genuine, or merely a temporary fix? Later that night, as they settled on the couch, the remnants of their culinary adventure scattered around them, a more serious conversation surfaced. "Emily," Tom began, voice low, "I know I told you I'd try, but I want to be better. Not just for you, but for myself, too. I've realized I've been running away from my feelings for so long, burying myself in work. I want to face the reality of everything, including how my work impacted us." Emily felt a surge of warmth at his admission. He was turning introspective, laying the groundwork for deeper connection. "I believe in your willingness to grow," she replied softly, recalling all the times in the past when his ambitions seemed to eclipse their relationship. "But you need to know, it's a long process. I need consistency. I can't go back to feeling neglected." A shadow passed over his face, a flicker of that previous arrogance seeping through. "I know, and that's where I've been failing. But trust me, please. Trust in what I am trying to do." "Trust is built through commitment," she countered, her resolve firm. "You need to show me. I won't settle for words." With each discussion, Emily felt her own walls begin to crumble as well. She was rediscovering her voice, asserting her emotional needs while also learning to navigate Tom's shifts in behavior. She realized that her emotional growth was intertwined with his. Her strength was blossoming alongside his newfound vulnerability. The conversation may have felt like small steps, but they both sensed the gravity of their situation. It wasn't merely about fixing a relationship, it was about their individual growth in the face of vulnerability. But that night, as she lay in bed, her mind racing with possibilities, a troubling thought surfaced. What if Tom fell back into old habits? What if this budding transformation wasn't sustainable? The fear crept in, urging her to remain cautious. As dawn light filtered through the curtains, she grappled with the reality of rebuilding their lives amidst uncertainty. Could they truly change together? And at what cost? The clock was ticking, and Emily knew that they stood on a precipice with winds of doubt swirling around them. As she contemplated her own role in this evolving dynamic, she felt the heavy weight of critical decisions looming on the horizon. Would she remain steadfast and outline her boundaries even if the path began to feel uncertain again? The next phase was on the horizon, but with it loomed challenges she had yet to comprehend. What unexamined truths lay beneath the surface waiting to be confronted? And could she maintain her resolve when faced with the inevitable setbacks ahead? The realization ignited a new sense of urgency. Change was indeed possible, but it was never without its trials. Emily awoke with a start, the day's weight heavy on her chest. She was haunted by both hope and uncertainty. The small victories with Tom were intertwined with a terrifying fragility, and each minute seemed stretched thin with implications. As she sipped her coffee, she caught sight of Tom absorbed in a book, a habit he had picked up to unwind after long shifts. This was new, an extension of his effort to grow. Yet the nagging thought resurfaced. Was it enough? It was a Monday when she decided it was time to confront her professional stagnation. With their relationship evolving, Emily felt the stirrings of her own ambitions pressing against the walls she had built around them. She had tucked her dreams away, allowing the daily grind to lull her into complacency. She needed to reignite her own passion. As she entered the glass doors of her office building, a familiar wave of anxiety washed over her. The dingy cubicles and the hum of fluorescent lights felt constricting, yet thrilling in a way. The finance world was unforgiving, but there lingered in her heart a hunger for it. She snatched her laptop from her desk, resolved to shape her path. Emily sat at her favorite corner table in the cafe downstairs, laptop open, but focus elusive. She was toying with ideas for a presentation that could inspire her team, a pitch that could elevate her from the shadows. The constant barrage of intimidation from her boss flickered through her mind. He had woven a web of doubt, insisting on hierarchy over innovation. His dismissive approach made her question her abilities. But wasn't this time for a shift? Summoning her courage, she clicked on a blank document and began typing. Each word felt like a brick, laying a foundation for both her impending proposal and her reclaimed identity. She could feel the adrenaline pulsing through her veins, spurring her to forge ahead. Today was about balance. Her aspirations would not be overshadowed by Tom's emotional journey. Later that evening, as she shared, satisfaction filled her voice. "I started drafting a new proposal for work today," she mentioned, gauging his reaction. "That's great, Em!" he beamed, his tone reminiscent of the man she had first fallen for. "What's it about?" As she elaborated, his genuine interest was a testament to the man he was striving to become. No longer lost in the fog of ambition, he was engaged, lifting her spirits. Yet a flicker of doubt danced at the back of her mind. Had she really moved past the need for his approval, or was this her test of resolve against his lingering influence? A week passed, and Emily found herself in a meeting where her proposal was on the agenda. As she presented, she felt the ground beneath her quaking. Would her team embrace her ideas? Each glance from her boss felt like a play of judgment, his lips pursed defensively against change. When he finally spoke, it was with a cold hesitation that brushed against her self-assurance. "Interesting concept, Emily, but it's unconventional. I wonder if you've thought about how this aligns with our current strategy." Her heart raced, thoughts spiraling. In that moment, she could hear the echo of his arrogance. But she also felt the strength that had been growing within her, the past weeks of engagement with Tom revitalizing her spirit. "I believe it challenges the status quo," she countered, voice steadying as she pushed against his resistance. "In a rapidly changing market, we need to adapt. We can't cling to the old ways. Our competitors won't wait for us to catch up." The room was silent. All eyes shifted to her. In that heartbeat, she knew she had crossed a threshold, not just for the team, but for herself. The tension crackled like static electricity, and a newfound clarity washed over her. As she sat back down, exhilaration coursed through her. She had faced a personal demon in the form of a relentless critic, and she felt liberated. And yet, the undertone of suspicion lingered. Would this renewed Emily hold firm when Tom faced his challenges? Could their independent growth withstand upcoming tests? The moments left both exhilarating and daunting hung thick in the air, foreshadowing a reckoning on the horizon. How will they navigate the ebbs and flows of their professional and personal journeys? And would love be enough to sustain them through the trials yet to come? As Emily prepared to face whatever unfolded next, an unexpected message flashed on her screen, jarring her focus. "We need to talk about your proposal." The doorbell of destiny chiming, alerting her to the impending storm. Emily stared at the message on her screen, her breath catching in her throat. The phrase, "we need to talk," sat heavy, filled with impatience and urgency. Did that mean good news or impending criticism? In that split second, the ground she'd finally made her own felt like it was shifting beneath her. Determined to face whatever awaited her, she took a moment to breathe and remind herself of the courage she had summoned during her presentation. The stale taste of uncertainty lingered, yet she had traversed a significant distance away from her prior self, softened by doubt and defined by others' expectations. No more. The next day at the office, Emily approached her boss's office, her mind racing. A tightly held grasp on her ambition threatened to flicker in doubt. As she knocked, the ache for validation surged within her. Was she ready to stand up to him once again? "Come in." His voice was sharp, cutting through the silence. She entered, closing the door behind her, steeling herself for the conversation. He gestured for her to take a seat, fingers steepled as he eyed her, and Emily felt the weight of his gaze. "So," he began, leaning back, "your proposal, it's bold. Nearly too bold." He paused, gauging her reaction. "I think boldness is what we need," Emily replied, her voice steadier than she felt. The adrenaline pushing against her ribs ignited a fire inside. He raised an eyebrow, the slight hint of amusement gracing his lips. "I admire your ambition, but you must understand the realities of our market. We have current strategies for a reason. Change isn't always positive." Here it was again, the tug-of-war between innovation and tradition. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears, but she remembered how far she'd come already. The man Tom was becoming, the fight she now felt coursing through her veins. "Perhaps," she countered, "but sometimes the best way to adapt is to disrupt the norm. Our competitors are making strides because they aren't afraid to redefine their boundaries. I firmly believe my proposal aligns with that ethos." He leaned forward, surprise flickering across his face. "You've clearly given this a lot of thought. This workplace needs a culture shift, and if you can rally support from the team, we can explore a pilot initiative." As she nodded, a wave of empowerment washed over her. She was finally conducting the narrative of her career, rather than being swept along the current. She left his office on an invisible cloud, grounded by one undeniable realization. Her voice mattered. She could ignite change. With each step back to her desk, a blend of exhilaration and fear surged within her, but the fear felt different, transformed into something manageable, something she could harness. Emotional clarity cleared the fog of anxiety. Her confidence became an illuminating pathway, guiding her toward the next stage of both her career and her relationship. That evening, Emily discussed her breakthrough with Tom over dinner, their kitchen warmly lit while the aroma of spices danced in the air. "He wants to explore the idea further," she shared, unable to hide her excitement. His smile was broad, filled with sincerity. "That's amazing, Em! You held your ground." But behind the excitement lay an unspoken tension. Was he truly happy for her, or did a shadow of fear linger in the recesses of his heart, fearing her growth might eclipse his own? "Dinner's on me tomorrow night to celebrate," Tom declared, buoyed by excitement. But as she watched him, a quiet doubt nestled within. Would her rising ambition and renewed spirit test the fragile fabric of their relationship? From her window, she gazed at the city skyline, sparkling against the darkening sky. It felt symbolic. Limits were merely illusions. What else could she unlock within herself? Just as she pondered her future, a troubling thought surfaced. Could Tom's past shadows still disrupt their balance? The ongoing challenge loomed as an ill-defined obstacle. And as the night deepened, a new realization awaited her. She had to face this uncertainty head-on. This would not just shape her career, but define the essence of their relationship. With a determination settling in her chest, she made a mental note. The proposed celebration with Tom would bring an essential conversation. The intrigue of change wrapped around her, but the looming question nagged at her thoughts. Could they both evolve in harmony, or would this newfound ambition fracture the bond they had fought for? The night and its revelations had only just begun. Emily awoke with a sense of purpose, the sun filtering through the curtains like an embrace, nudging her get ready for the day ahead. The anticipation built like a spinning top, poised to create momentum in every decision she would make. Today, she would celebrate her progress and confront the uncertainties twisted in her joy. After her usual routine, she settled at her desk, her heart pulsating with both excitement and apprehension about the evening ahead. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from Tom asking her what time she wanted to meet for dinner. She typed, "Let's make it 7," and hit send, adrenaline creeping in with every passing minute. The hours crawled, quickening at times as she focused on work, her fingers effortlessly directing information on the screen while her mind cycled through thoughts of conversation. What would she say? How would she reveal not just her successes, but also the anxiety coiled tightly inside her? As she dissected her next steps, her colleague Lisa leaned over the cubicle. "Hey, Emily, are you ready for tonight?" "Yeah, I guess," she replied, hiding her nerves behind a steady facade. "If you're nervous about how he'll take your news, remember, this is your time. Don't hold back," Lisa urged, her eyes bright with encouragement. "I know," Emily whispered, internalizing the truth of the statement. A steady climb toward her aspirations meant that she needed to embrace the rawness of potential change. She longed for her relationship with Tom to be as groundbreaking as her career ambitions. After work, the bustling streets buzzed with life, and the flickering lights from the city enveloped her in a comforting illusion of normalcy. As she arrived at the restaurant, a weighted heaviness fell across her chest, the weight of the conversation that lay ahead. Tom was already seated, and his face lit up when he spotted her. "You look beautiful," he said, genuine warmth radiating from his expression. For a moment, Emily relaxed into the comfort of his charm, but a fleeting flash of doubt interrupted her thoughts. She ordered the special of the day with a smile, but each bite felt tethered to the conversation awaiting them. She needed to be authentic, to unveil her dreams and fears without filtering them through a lens of self-doubt. "Tom," she began, breaking the amicable small talk that had filled the table, "I've been thinking a lot about my proposal at work and how it reflects on us." He leaned forward, curiosity etched onto his face. "What do you mean?" His keen attention ignited Emily's determination. "With the pilot initiative, I want to lead and shake things up in the company. But it's making me realize that maybe I also want to shake things up in our relationship. I don't want to lose sight of my ambitions because of where we are." Tom's brow furrowed slightly, a mixture of concern and understanding flickering across his features. "You know I support you, right? But what does that mean for us?" It was the question she feared facing. "I want us to encourage each other to grow, both personally and professionally." She hesitated, wrestling with how to articulate her thoughts. "Afraid that my growth might push you away." Silence cloaked the table. The strain of vulnerability permeated the air as he processed her words. "Emily, growth is important," he finally said, his voice steady. "But it's scary. I just don't want to feel like I'm being left behind." His admission struck her like an unexpected tremor. She recognized that both she and Tom were at a crossroads, each battling inner fears about what prosperity might mean for their relationship. Was she truly ready to stand firm and prioritize her ambitions amidst the complexities of love? The conversation took root, challenging her to reassess what she had once viewed as solid ground. It felt like walking on a tightrope, balancing her desires with the man she loved. They discussed their hopes, dreams, and the uncertainties swirling within them, the emotional exchanges unearthing layers of connection yet fraught with tension. As dessert arrived, the restaurant morphed into a backdrop for revelations, their vulnerability infusing the air with a palpable charge. As she prepared to share a significant decision about her involvement in the project, a sudden realization hit her, coupled with the urgency of her ambitions. The intimacy they had forged through their discussion risked drowning in the receding waves of confidence. Would the conversation bring them closer, or would it antagonize the delicate bond they built? Tom, Emily stared deep into his eyes, the depth of her emotions feeding her determination. This isn't about leaving you behind. It's about encouraging us both to chase what we want. Are you with me? As his expression faltered, she held her breath, sensing that the secrets and fears yet to surface could either fortify or fracture them. The evening had unfurled into a pivotal moment, and she needed to uncover if the threads binding their ambitions could hold together or snap under pressure, birthing a new reality. Could they both navigate their separate growths while maintaining the love they cherished? The question lingered in the air, taunting and beckoning her to confront the truth of their hearts. The night was no longer just about celebration. It teetered precariously between revelation and uncertainty. Tom's gaze shifted, as if seeking clarity in Emily's earnest declaration. The silence that followed felt dense with the weight of possibility. Emily's heart raced. In the stillness, the weight of her desire for mutual growth and the fear of potential loss twisted together into a tempest within her. "Look," he finally ventured, his voice softer yet laced with hesitance. "I admire your ambition, but what if this pushes us into different worlds? There's so much at stake." The concern in his eyes was palpable. It underscored the very feeling that had haunted her all evening. Emily grasped her glass tightly, the coolness of the surface contrasting with the heat building in her chest. It was an unsettling reminder that her aspirations, a once crystal-clear horizon, now felt laden with uncertainty. But as she refocused on Tom, she understood. She had to believe in the strength of their connection to weather the turbulence. "I don't want to disregard what we've built," she murmured, each word a careful step on an emotional tightrope. "But I also can't deny who I am. I want us to flourish, both together and as individuals." The rhythm of her thoughts began to align with clarity. She recalled the exhilaration of taking risks, of pursuing dreams that felt wild and unattainable, yet essential. Tom leaned back, a pensive look crossing his face. "Then let's figure this out together. I don't want to lose you because of my fears," he replied, each word imbued with a new resolve. Her heart lifted momentarily, threaded with hope, yet doubt tugged at the fringes of her joy. As their conversation resumed, the layers of understanding deepened. They navigated the complexities of their aspirations and the emotional terrain of commitment. But for Emily, it was starkly evident that for every new height she aspired to reach, there lay the potential for bitter falls. While the evening unfolded, Emily recognized the newfound energy igniting her spirit. Speaking her truth sparked a hunger for growth, igniting a previously dormant flame. Either this would propel her career, or it would dismantle her relationship, perhaps the hardest truth she grappled with during the discussion. As they stepped out of the restaurant, the cool night air fluttered around them, charged with transformed possibilities. Emily felt lighter yet burdened. She had skimmed the surface of her ambitions, but the depth would require more exploration with Tom. A plan began to crystallize within her, a defiant arrangement she needed to strategize carefully. She would dedicate her effort not only to her career, but to open dialogues about their shared journey. Could they design a path together that accounted for their ambitions yet honored their relationship? With every step toward her car, Emily's mind surged with potential scenarios and outcomes. Each represented a risk, a choice to embrace or flee. The realization of her power ignited a thrill that overshadowed her fears. If she was to stand firm in her ambitions, she needed to channel this understanding into a structured approach that would fortify both her career and her relationship. Later that night, lying awake, shadows danced across her ceiling as questions swirled in her mind. This experience with Tom had marked the tipping point around which her ambitions would pivot. But would he be ready to navigate this journey together? Or was this the beginning of a painful distance? Her thoughts divided between uncertainty and ambition. She knew her next steps required more than merely speaking her truth. It called for crafting strategies, forging partnerships that would either be a harmonious blend or an impasse. As dawn peeked through the curtains, a fresh resolve settled upon her. She would effectively mold her priorities, not for the sake of sacrifice, but for mutual growth. What awaited them on the horizon was still covert and daunting, but it was a journey she was determined to explore. The moment came to decide, to confront the very heart of her ambitions and how they aligned with Tom's, or keep teetering on this edge of uncertainty. With this thought lingering in her mind, Emily began to formulate her approach. Would she have the courage to spark the next conversation that would define the directions of their futures? Emily awoke to the soft morning light filtering through her curtains, awakening a deep-seated sense of resolve within her. She felt it radiating through her. This was it, a new chapter brimming with promise and ambition. Today would be different. She would take not just a step, but a giant leap towards aligning her aspirations with her relationship. As she sat at her kitchen table, coffee warming her hands, thoughts of yesterday's conversation with Tom coursed through her mind. The connection they shared had been profoundly transformative, but it required ongoing effort. She knew she couldn't gloss over the emotional complexities between them. Both she and Tom stood at crucial crossroads, but she felt invigorated, no longer afraid of the unknown. Emily planned to confront the heart of their recent discussions. Reaching for her notebook, she jotted down key points: aspirations, collaboration, and commitment. These were the guiding principles of her approach. She would advocate for her professional growth while nurturing the bond she cherished with Tom. It was time to blend the personal and professional realms seamlessly. In the afternoon, she met Tom at a cafe, a neutral ground to reaffirm their commitment to one another. As he arrived, a familiar warmth enveloped her. He pulled out the chair across from her, displaying a casual confidence that made her smile. But as she ventured into the conversation, a palpable unease hung in the air. "Tom, I've been thinking a lot about our discussion last night," Emily began, her voice steady with purpose. "I know our paths are diverging, and I want us to embrace that, together." His eyes narrowed slightly, curiosity laced with apprehension evident in his expression. "What do you mean? Are you suggesting we redefine what we want?" "Yes," she responded, her pulse quickening with each word. "You've been focusing so much on your career, and I've been afraid to push mine forward. But I've realized that my ambitions don't take away from us. Instead, they can enhance what we have." Tom leaned back, a thoughtful expression grazing his face. "I want to support you, Emily. I suppose I've been worried about how it would affect us," he admitted, vulnerability creeping into his tone. "Me too," she confessed, a weight lifting at the honesty between them. "But we can hold space for both our dreams. I want to lead that pilot project, but I also need you to be part of this journey with me, openly, authentically. Can we commit to reassessing how we communicate about our lives?" As she spoke, the once heavy tension dissolved. A crack of understanding split the air between them, illuminating the path ahead. It was about collaboration, creating new boundaries that encouraged growth instead of threatening their bond. "I need to know you're willing to explore this side of what it means for us," she pressed gently. "We have to be each other's partners, not competitors. We can be stronger together." Tom nodded, consideration painting his features, yet uncertainty lingered in his gaze. "I'll work on that, but it's hard switching gears without being vulnerable," he replied. "I've built this wall as a defense." Emily recognized this. His ability to shield himself had been what initially drew her to him, but the intimacy they were building required dismantling those walls. "And I'll do the same. We can create a safe space for honesty," she reassured him. As they left, hand in hand, the weight on her heart had transformed into something lighter, more energetic. When she returned to her classroom the next day, she felt a newfound vibrancy coursing through her. Each student buzzing with energy reminded her of the powerful influence she wielded, not just in their lives, but in her own. Emily dove headfirst into her personal projects at work. The proposal she'd crafted was gaining traction, lifting her out from behind the shadows of previous doubts and fears. With every meeting she attended and every idea she shared, her confidence surged. It was the push she needed to embrace her identity as an educator and advocate wholeheartedly. During a team gathering, she presented her initiative to foster inclusivity among students, outlining concrete strategies and actionable steps, her voice clear, assured. The unanimous approval from her colleagues felt like a well-deserved accolade, grounding her in her purpose. She had emerged from the turbulence to stand firm. In her beliefs, she had conquered her fears. Yet in the evenings, Tom and Emily faced challenges too. The conversations they had initiated transformed into a series of late-night dialogues, musings that deepened their connection. They vetted each other's thoughts, desires, and expectations constantly, creating a dynamic rhythm of support that felt thrillingly new. One evening, the gravity of their discussions shifted when Tom suggested introducing dedicated check-in times during the week, moments carved from their busy lives exclusively for one another. "Let's ensure we both feel heard and understood," he declared, with a softness that cut through any remaining anxiety. Emily's heart swelled at his sincerity. They were actively cultivating a partnership founded on mutual respect, curiosity, and candor. "That sounds perfect," she replied, impossibly grateful for his evolution. As they navigated through the initial uncertainty of blending their ambitions and love, Emily noticed Tom's confidence blossoming too. It was no longer about ambition versus love, they were woven together, both enriching the other. Months later, Emily stood in front of her class, the excitement palpable among her students. Today was the culmination of her efforts, the implementation of her newly designed social justice program. It was her tangible achievement, proof of her growth and the realization of her dreams. She felt solid confidence radiating from deep within, recognized by her colleagues and students alike. As she watched her students engage passionately with the material, a profound sense of fulfillment washed over her. This wasn't just a personal victory, it signified an essential evolution in her identity. She had embraced her purpose and conquered her fears, carving out a defined space for herself both in the classroom and within her relationship. Now, standing tall at this precipice of success, equipped with an unwavering commitment to her ambitions while nurturing her relationship with Tom, she felt invincible. This was her moment. As she walked home that evening, hand in hand with Tom, the horizon crackling with the energy of a once elusive future now shaped by their collective growth, their journey reflected hard-earned resilience, echoing each choice they had made to champion each other. This story of personal transformation culminated in tangible achievement, proof that with determination, honesty, and collaboration, they had forged a new path, one defined by genuine connection and shared ambitions. Now that you've witnessed this exhilarating resolution, it's time to take action. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep us going strong. Comment below with your reactions, thoughts, and theories about this ending. And don't wait even one more second. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Be part of the movement that values personal growth and transformative journeys.